Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Janet Nation from Keller Williams. And before I even start, just bear in mind, if you like the information that I'm going to share today, please press the subscribe button below. I will be putting out videos every week pertaining to residential real estate. And every now and again, I'll do an interview with a professional that can bring value to the information that I want to put out there week after week after week. So today I want to address a specific group of people. If you're looking to purchase a home in Long Island, I want you to know what you can expect when you sit down with me, Janet Nation, for a buyer consultation. So I have been operating the same way for years, literally. And because I think that if you are looking to purchase a home, it is critical that you sit down with a real estate professional who is going to help you navigate through that process, because more than likely it's going to be your biggest expense, your largest asset. And you want to be able to do that with a real estate agent that cares. All right. So what I'm about to tell you is, again, what I've been doing for many years, and it has worked well for me and the clients that I service. Because just like if you were going to a doctor, he's not going to give you a prescription unless he sits down and attempts to diagnose your problem. And that's the same thing that I do as a real estate professional. I want to sit down with you and hear, your financial circumstances and what it is that you're looking for. And then I'm going to, based on that, based on your needs, based on your eligibility, I'm going to help you accordingly. So before we actually get to the table, what typically happens that there is a conversation on the phone, and I gather some preliminary information. It's not that I'm being nosy, but I'll ask those questions. I will ask specific personal questions, because I need to know before you come to my office, and now it will be virtually because of the pandemic environment that we're in. I need to have a certain understanding so that when you come to my office, when we sit down together, that the consultation is meaningful. So I will also ask you to bring certain documents. If you already have a pre-approval, I will ask you to bring that. If you don't have a pre-approval, my preferred lender or one of my preferred lender will be with me, and I will ask you to bring certain documents for he or she to review. Now, so you come, we sit down, and one of the first things I'm going to talk to you about is the current market that we're in. It's really important that you understand that, because a lot of people come to the table with a preconceived idea of how the whole process is going to work. And they get that idea really from family members and friends that have purchased a home beforehand. But what we have to understand, or what you have to understand, is that every season the climate is different. So depending on when your friend or family member purchased a home, or colleague, right, it doesn't mean that their experience is going to be your experience. Every season it's different, and every experience is going to be different. So I do talk about the current market and how we're going to navigate through that current market. Then I next go into talking about agent representation. A very key component to your experience is the agent that you will be working with, because that agent is going to be with you from the beginning to the end. So you need to understand the different agent representation, seller's agent, buyer's agent. I only work as a buyer's agent. If you sit down in my office, I will only be working with you as a buyer's agent. And then I would go through the process of how that is going to work and how that is very, very advantageous to you. Then I will then talk about different types of home ownerships, including condos and co-ops. If that is not applicable to you, we just totally eliminate that part of the discussion. I talk about short sales and foreclosures and how they work. A lot of people kind of have that a little bit wrong, but I go into details about that type of transaction, very different from a traditional transaction. Then I will also talk about the role of the home inspector, and I'll also talk about the role of your attorney. So these are, then I summarize, how it's going to work from beginning to end if it was a perfect will. Then the next part of my consultation is looking at that pre-approval, understanding the pre-approval and how the pre-approval was done. And to really confirm how the pre-approval was done, I will reach out to the loan officer to ask a certain amount of questions, because there's sometimes a buyer does have a pre-approval with them but don't really quite understand, how it was calculated and what it was really based on. So I do reach out to the lender at a later time to get that clarification. If you don't have a pre-approval in place, my preferred lender is with me and we go over everything. He talks about, he's doing his portion of the presentation and, what the buyer can qualify for based on what they brought to the table and based on the amount of questions. That's kind of like a pre-approval, because to do it correctly, the preferred lender that I work with also likes to verify income, and that usually can't be done at the table, but we will have a good idea. Then the next component of the presentation is really or consultation is really speaking to the buyer and getting a clear understanding of what they want and where they want to be. And based on this, doing numbers and stuff like that, if it turns out that what they want or where they want to be is not a realistic option, then we look at alternatives. And I will suggest alternatives, so that it can match their affordability. If they need time to go back and do some remediation to their credit or save a little bit more money, then that is suggested too, and we stay in touch. So the bottom line is, when we're all said and done, and believe me, this can take at least a couple of hours, the buyer walks away and have really a clear understanding of not only how the process works, but how things are for them personally. And that's a great way to start your home search, as opposed to just calling up an agent randomly and looking at houses and having no idea, if what you're looking at, if you can even afford it. So this is the first step that you should do, is a buyer consultation. Not many will do a buyer consultation. They'll have some kind of little discussion, but I really do have a full-fledged buyer consultation when I'm working with buyers, and those buyers then become my clients. And we have a wonderful experience, and I do try to stay in touch the best that I can and have client events. And, as a result, 99% of my business do come from referrals and repeat business, and I just really love it that way. This is the way that I personally like to work. So this is what you can expect from me if you sit down with me for a buyer consultation. We will go through that level of detail. We will take that time. This is your time. This is your time to get the information that you need to purchase your home. I hope you found that helpful. I would love for you to call me. Even if you just have a question or want to run an idea by me. So if you like the information that you've heard today, please subscribe to my channel. I will be here every single week. Every Wednesday, I will be putting out a new video. And very quickly over a period of time, you're going to have a wealth of information on how real estate in New York, residential, how it's working, how the market's doing. I just have a wealth of information up here that I can't wait to share with you. Bye for now.